My world fell apart when I got a call saying my husband was dying in the hospital. I rushed there as fast as I could. But when I arrived, something strange happened. A kind nurse grabbed my arm and whispered, "Please hide. Trust me. Something bad is happening." I was confused and scared, but I listened to her. She pushed me into a small room and told me to stay quiet. I sat there shaking, waiting. 10 minutes felt like forever. Then the door near me opened, and what I saw made my heart stop beating. Let me tell you how this nightmare started. It was a cold winter night. Snow was falling outside my window. The clock showed it was very late, almost midnight. I was wearing my warm pajamas, walking around my living room. Kept looking at my phone. My husband Marcus had not come home yet. He worked at a big company, so he was often late. But tonight felt different. Something felt wrong in my tummy. Earlier that day we had a small fight. I asked Marcus if we could save more money. He got angry and said I did not understand his job. Usually when Marcus worked late, he would send me a message. He would say, "Still working. Go to sleep without me." But tonight my phone was silent. I called him 3 times. The first time the phone rang but nobody answered. The second and third times it went straight to a recording. Maybe his phone died. I tried to make myself feel better, but the worried feeling would not go away. The snow outside got heavier. I walked to the window and looked down at the empty street. Everything was white and quiet. I thought about Marcus's mother. She always worried a lot when Marcus was late. I was happy she did not live with us. At exactly midnight, our house phone rang. The sound was so loud in the quiet house that I jumped. My heart started beating very fast. Nobody ever called our house phone anymore. With shaking hands I picked it up. "Hello." My voice sounded weird and scared. "Is this Maya, wife of Marcus?" a voice said. Sounded cold and serious. "Yes, that's me. Did something happen to Marcus?" "Yes." I was holding the phone so tight my hand hurt. "Please stay calm. Your husband Marcus was in a very bad car crash on the highway. The ambulance just brought him to Central City Hospital. He is very sick. The doctors are doing an operation right now to try to save him." Everything around me seemed to stop. The phone felt heavy in my hand. Very sick. Operation. Those words kept going around in my head. "Yes, that's right," said the voice. "Dr. Harrison Cole is doing the operation. He is the best doctor we have. You should come to the hospital right away." Dr. Harrison Cole. I knew that name. He was our family doctor. Marcus trusted him very much. This made me feel a tiny bit better, but the words "very sick" kept repeating in my mind. "Yes, I am coming right now," I said. I hung up the phone without saying goodbye. For a few seconds I just stood there. My legs felt like jelly. No, this cannot be real. This must be a bad dream. Marcus, my strong husband who was never sick, was now fighting to stay alive. My brain told my body to move, but I could not. Then suddenly energy rushed through me. I grabbed my coat from the hook. I did not care how I looked. I did not even change out of my pajamas. Car keys, purse. That was all I could think about. I ran out of our house and got in the elevator. I felt empty inside. The cold snow hit my face when I stepped outside. I ran to my car. My hands were shaking so much I could not get the key in the car at first. After trying 3 times, the car finally started. I stepped on the gas pedal hard. The drive to Central City Hospital usually took 30 minutes. But that night, with all the snow and my fear, it felt like it took forever. I drove very fast. Tears ran down my face, mixing with the snow on the window. The wipers moved back and forth, but they could not clear all the water and tears. My thoughts jumped everywhere. I remembered Marcus laughing at dinner last week. I remembered Marcus angry during our fight today. Felt so bad. Why did I argue with him about money? What if that was the last time we talked? "Please God, save him. Please save Marcus," I said over and over. My lips were shaking. I did not care about red lights or driving too fast. I just wanted to get there to see Marcus, to know that he was okay. Finally, I saw the big white hospital building. I parked my car badly in front of the emergency doors. A security man yelled at me, but I did not care. I ran into the hospital lobby. I could not breathe. My clothes were wet from snow and tears. My husband, Marcus, car accident. I yelled at the nurse at the desk. The nurse looked at her computer. Marcus. Yes, they took him to the 5th floor. That's where they do operations. Take that elevator and turn right. Room number 4. Thank you, I said. I did not wait. I pushed the elevator button many times, but it was too slow. I decided to run up the stairs instead. I ran up 5 floors without stopping. My heart felt like it would explode. Got to the 5th floor. The hallway was very quiet and clean. It smelled like that strong hospital smell I always hated. The hallway was long with white lights. I turned right and saw it at the end. Big metal doors. Above them a red light was on. The sign said, Operating Room 4, surgery in progress. Marcus was in there fighting to stay alive. I started running again. Tears came back to my eyes. Had to go in. Had to see him. I reached out my hand to push the cold metal door. My hand was so close I could feel the cold air from the other side. I took a big breath, ready to push the door open. I would do anything to be with Marcus. Just when my fingers touched the metal, a hand grabbed my arm from the side. Don't go in there. I screamed a little and turned around fast. A young nurse was looking at me with scared eyes. She wore blue hospital clothes. Her mask was hanging around her neck. Her face was white, and her eyes looked very worried. Her name tag said, Nurse Sophie. You are Marcus's wife, right? The nurse whispered very quietly and fast. I nodded, shaking with fear. I tried to pull my arm away. Yes, my husband is in there. I need to go in. Let me go. No. Nurse Sophie held me tighter and pulled me away from the door. You cannot go in. They must not know you are here. This is very important. I was confused. What did she mean? Who were they? What do you mean? My husband is dying. I have to. Listen to me carefully. Nurse Sophie's eyes looked into mine. She looked very serious. I know this sounds crazy, but this is not a real operation to help him. It is a trick. They are trying to hurt you. That word made me freeze. A trick. What did that mean? Dr. Cole is in there, I said. That is the problem, Sophie whispered. There is no time to explain everything. You have to hide right now. Sophie pulled me across the hallway. She pointed to a brown door on the other side. It was hiding behind a snack machine. The door had no sign on it. Go in there, Sophie said. It is a room where workers change clothes. Nobody uses it at night. Lock the door from inside. No matter what you hear, do not make noise. Do not come out until I get you. No matter what happens, stay inside. My mind was spinning. This made no sense. A nurse was telling me to hide from my husband's operation. She said it was a trick. But the fear in Sophie's eyes was too real. Something was very wrong behind that operating room door. Why should I trust you? I whispered. My voice was shaking. Because I saw your husband's real medical papers before Dr. Cole changed them, Sophie said very fast. He is not dying from the car crash. There was no car crash. Quick, they could come out any minute. Those words worked. Sophie pushed me to the other side of the hallway. My mind was confused, but I followed her. She opened the changing room door. It was dark and smelled old, like stale coffee. Sophie pushed me inside. Lock it and trust me, she whispered one more time. Then she closed the door quietly. I heard the soft sound of the door closing. I was alone in complete darkness. I found the lock and turned it. My heart was beating so hard it hurt. I could not breathe right. I leaned against the door, trying to understand what just happened. Fake papers. Dr. Cole. I slid down to the cold floor. The room was only lit by a tiny bit of light coming from under the door. I could see shapes of metal lockers around me. I hugged my knees, trying to stop shaking. What was happening? Was Nurse Sophie crazy? Or did she just save my life? My thoughts went back to Marcus. If he was not dying, where was he? What were they doing in that operating room? I crawled quietly to the door and pressed my ear against the wood. Silence. The hallway outside was empty. I heard nothing but my own heart beating loud. I looked through the keyhole, but I could only see the wall across the hall. I checked the time on my phone. 1 o'clock in the morning. Time felt like it was going so slow. Every second felt like an hour. I was alone in the dark, listening to scary silence. My mind filled with terrible thoughts. What if Sophie locked me in here and Marcus really needed me? No, I had to trust my feelings. My feelings told me that Sophie's eyes were honest. I waited. 1 minute. 2 minutes. I listened very hard for any sound. Footsteps far away. The sound of a machine. But nothing from operating room 4. 5 minutes. I was starting to feel like I could not breathe. The room was too hot. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run out and break down that door. 7 minutes. I prayed in my head. Not just for Marcus but for myself too. I felt like a mouse in a trap. 10 minutes. The 10 longest minutes of my whole life. Suddenly I heard a click sound from outside. Not at my door but in the hallway. I held my breath. I pressed my eye to the keyhole but I could not see right. I moved to look through the crack in the door. Through the tiny space, I could see the red light above operating room 4 had turned off. The operation was over. Then I heard a soft hissing sound. The metal doors of the operating room were opening. The metal doors opened with a quiet hiss. In the silent hallway, the sound was very loud to me. I held my breath. My whole body was tense behind the dark changing room door. I kept my eyes on the tiny crack, my only way to see what was happening. The first person to come out was Dr. Harrison Cole. He was still wearing his blue surgery clothes, but he had pulled his mask down. He did not look like a doctor who just tried to save someone's life. He did not look tired or stressed or sad. He looked relaxed and calm. He was taking off rubber gloves that had fake red stuff on them. I felt sick to my stomach. Then a second person came out. I expected to see Marcus on a hospital bed with wheels. I expected to see a body covered with a sheet. I expected to hear beeping machines. What I saw made my blood turn to ice. It was Marcus, my husband. But Marcus was not lying down. He was not on a rolling bed. Marcus was walking. He walked out of the operating room on his own 2 feet. He was also wearing blue surgery clothes like he was part of the doctor team, not the sick patient. He stretched and moved his neck like he had been sitting too long. He was healthy, strong, and not hurt at all. I covered my mouth with both hands. Cry almost came out of my throat. This was impossible. This was not real. Had to be a bad dream. Then a third person came out. Woman. She was tall and thin with long hair. Under her doctor coat, she wore a fancy dress. I knew her right away. Vanessa. Marcus's secretary at work. The one who always looked at me with mean eyes at company parties. Marcus always told me I was being jealous for no reason. I was not blind. I was just too trusting. The plan worked perfectly, Marcus's voice said clearly in the quiet hallway. It was deep and calm with no sound of pain. I felt like someone punched me in the stomach. Dr. Cole laughed as he threw the gloves in the trash. Of course it worked. The emergency workers are helping me. The fake accident report is in the computer. The fake ambulance did its job. Right now, officially, Marcus had very bad internal bleeding and almost died. I cannot wait to see Maya's face, Vanessa said. Her voice sounded like a mean snake. She gave Marcus a bottle of water. I bet she is coming here right now, crying and scared. Poor stupid woman. Marcus laughed. He laughed. That laugh that used to make me feel safe now sounded evil. She will be so upset. She is so dumb. I bit my hand hard. The pain in my hand was nothing compared to the pain in my heart. They had not just lied to me. They were making fun of me. They had turned me into a joke in their evil plan. The important thing is, Dr. Cole said, his voice getting serious again. When she gets here, we have to act our parts. Marcus, you need to go to the recovery room. Quick, lie down. We will hook up the tubes and machines. You have to look weak but alive. Like you just had surgery. I know, Marcus said, rolling his eyes. I am weak but saved by this great doctor. I will meet Maya in the waiting area, Dr. Cole continued. I will give her the good news and the bad news. The operation worked. The bleeding stopped. But, he paused. But what? Asked Vanessa, her eyes shining. But, said Dr. Cole with a small smile, I will tell her that during the surgery we found something else. A very dangerous blood clot near her heart. I will tell her I need her signature for a second procedure tomorrow morning. A very urgent and risky surgery. Of course, Marcus said with an evil smile. Exactly, Dr. Cole nodded. A procedure with a very high risk of problems with the sleeping medicine. If something were to happen to her on the operating table, it would be sad, but we would have done everything we could. Finally understood. Everything made sense now. The target was not Marcus. The accident was not real. It was all a setup. A setup for me. My mind went back 3 weeks. Marcus came home with lots of papers for a new life insurance. It was worth millions of dollars. I asked him why we needed a new one. He said it was to protect our future. I remember joking. Why am I the one insured? It should be you since your work is more dangerous. Marcus just laughed and said, It is part of a special deal, honey. You just need to sign. And I, trusting like always, signed it. I had just signed my own death paper. The argument earlier today was not about spending money. I had complained that the insurance payment was too expensive. I asked Marcus to cancel it. No wonder he got so angry. I was accidentally ruining his plan to kill me. And when she does not wake up from the operating table, Marcus's voice pulled me out of my terrible thoughts. The insurance pays millions of dollars. Then we can leave this country and start a new life in Paris. Vanessa laughed and held onto Marcus's arm. I already bought the tickets to France. The 3 of them. My husband, his girlfriend, and our family doctor. The 3 of them had planned to kill me in detail. In a hospital, the place that should be safest. My blood was no longer frozen. It started to boil. The fear that made me unable to move was slowly turning into something else. Something cold, hard, and sharp. Anger. I watched the 3 of them walk calmly down the hall away from the operating room. They turned the corner, probably going to the recovery room. The sound of their footsteps faded away. The hallway became quiet again. I leaned against the door. My body was shaking hard. But it was not from fear anymore. I was shaking with pure anger. I was trapped alone in a dark, stuffy changing room while my killers were on the same floor waiting for me to fall into their trap. I had to get out of there. But how? Suddenly I heard a sound at my door. Not in the hallway. Soft click. Someone was putting a key in from the outside. Froze. My heart stopped. Did they know I was here? Did Vanessa, Marcus, or Dr. Cole realize someone was listening? Had they come back for me? The doorknob turned slowly. The door opened with a quiet creak. Light from the hallway came in, blinding me. A small person in blue clothes came in quickly. Mrs. Maya, she whispered. Relief washed over me so strong that my legs almost gave out. It was Nurse Sophie. Sophie quickly closed the door and locked it again from inside. She leaned against it, breathing hard. In the dim light, her face looked very pale. Did you see them? Sophie asked. Her voice was shaking. Could not speak. Could only nod. Tears of anger and hurt finally rolled down my face. Did you hear what they said? Sophie asked again. I nodded again. Everything, I whispered. My voice sounded rough and strange. The insurance, the fake surgery, the plan they have for me tomorrow. Sophie closed her eyes for a moment like she felt my pain. Oh my goodness. I thought it might be true, but to hear it. Why? I asked, looking at the young nurse. Why are you helping me? You are risking everything. Sophie sat on the floor next to me and took a deep breath. I have been suspicious of Dr. Cole for a long time. Ever since I started working here as a new nurse. I listened, holding onto Sophie's arm like it was the only safe thing in my broken world. He is not a real doctor who helps people, Sophie said quietly, staring at the lockers. He is a bad man. He looks for rich patients with big insurance. He schedules a simple surgery. Then during the operation there are problems. A bad reaction to medicine. Unexpected bleeding. Something that can never be proven as the doctor's fault. The patient dies, Sophie continued. Her voice got harder. The insurance pays the money. And somehow, Dr. Cole always gets a big donation for his research a few weeks later. He is a terrible person. But how did you know about Marcus? About me? Yes. I was working on the surgery floor tonight, Sophie explained. I saw the emergency surgery scheduled under Marcus's name. The code said serious stomach injury. But there was something weird. There was no backup information from the emergency room. Usually, emergency patient data enters automatically. This was blank. It was like this patient appeared out of nowhere. A chill ran down my back. I got curious, Sophie continued. I used my computer access to check the system records. I saw that Dr. Cole himself had entered the information manually from his computer. Very unusual for such an important surgeon. So I did something risky. I knew the password to his office. An hour ago, while he was getting ready for surgery, I snuck in. I had to know what he was hiding. Sophie's eyes were bright. In a locked drawer of his desk, I found the real file. Under Marcus's name, it was not accident information. It was a report from a full health checkup from 2 days ago. The results said perfect health. Absolutely healthy. Of course it was, I thought bitterly. And in the same drawer, Sophie's voice became even quieter, was your file. Copy of the new life insurance policy. The amount was huge. And at the bottom, in the medical advisor section, was Dr. Cole's name. Everything fit together. The fake accident, the fake surgery, and the plan for a second and deadly operation for you. I knew I did not have much time, Nurse Sophie said. I knew they would call you. I did not know exactly what their plan was, but I knew you could not meet them before knowing the truth. I ran to the hallway, hoping to stop you. And lucky for both of us, I did. I squeezed the nurse's hand tight. You saved my life, Sophie. Not yet, Sophie said seriously. We are just starting. They know you are coming. They are waiting for you. What do? I asked, feeling panic grab me again. I cannot act. I cannot look at Marcus and pretend to be sad. You have to, Sophie said firmly. You have to play your part just like they play theirs. Right now, they will have moved Marcus to the recovery room at the end of this hall. They will call you any second. You have to pretend you are devastated, sad, and relieved that he survived. Cry. Sophie's instructions were quick and clear. When they give you the papers for tomorrow's operation, you have to say no. If I say no, they will know something is wrong, I said. Do not say no right away. Say you are in shock. Say you need time to think. That you have to call Marcus's mother first. Any excuse. The important thing is that you do not sign anything tonight. We need time. Time for what? Yes. To get real proof, Sophie said. We cannot run away. They will chase you. We cannot go to the police with just our story. They will say you are a crazy woman. We need proof they cannot deny. What proof? First, Marcus's real health report that I saw in Dr. Cole's office. Second, the file of the fake surgery in the computer system. And third, the security camera recordings. My eyes got big. Security cameras. Yes. I am sure Marcus did not arrive at this hospital in an ambulance, Sophie said. He came on his own. Most likely he parked in the underground worker parking lot because it is more private. If we can get the security camera video from tonight showing him walking calmly into the hospital, we will destroy his whole accident story. Dr. Cole's office is in the basement, I said. My brain started working again. Correct, next to the file room and the camera server room, Sophie confirmed. It is like his secret lair. Sophie pulled a white card from her pocket. This is a spare master key card. I took it from the front desk earlier. But there is a problem. The basement hallway has cameras, and Dr. Cole often watches them himself from his computer. I looked at the card in Sophie's hand. felt heavy and scary. I will create a distraction, Sophie said. I am going to set off the fire alarm on an upper floor. That will keep all the security guards busy. Will that give me time? Yes. My heart was racing. You have to sneak down to the basement, Sophie said, looking right into my eyes. Enter Dr. Cole's office and find Marcus's real health file. Then go to the server room. Get the recordings from the last few hours. If you have a cable, you can transfer them to your phone. Check my pockets. I had my phone but no cable. Use this, Sophie said, unhooking a small memory stick from her keychain. Plug it into the computer and copy the information fast. Sophie, I do not know how to do this, I said. You can do it, Sophie interrupted. You have to do it. It is our only chance. After, meet me at the basement emergency exit. We will get out of here together. Nurse Sophie had just given me an impossible mission. Go down into the wolf's den and steal proof while my killers walked free upstairs. Just then the phone in my hand buzzed. The name on the screen made my blood boil again. Dr. Harrison Cole. They have started, Sophie whispered. Her eyes were wide. Answer it. Play your role. Weak, scared, submissive. I took a deep breath and swiped my finger across the screen to answer. I breathed deeply. The old air in the changing room felt like it was crushing my lungs. In my hand, the phone buzzed like an angry snake. Dr. Harrison Cole's name glowed on the screen. This was my stage. It was time to act. Answer, Sophie whispered. Remember, weak, scared, submissive. I swiped the green button and brought the phone to my ear. I gathered all the pain and betrayal I just felt and turned it into a voice full of fear. I forced a convincing cry. Yes, doctor. Mrs. Maya, thank goodness. Dr. Cole's voice on the other end was so warm, so kind, so full of concern that it made me want to throw up. Where are you? We were waiting for you. I have to talk to you. I just got here. Marcus, my husband. How is he, doctor? I sobbed, playing my part perfectly. There was a pause for effect. He is a strong man, Mrs. Maya. The operation was very difficult. We almost lost him. The bleeding was very bad. I closed my eyes, picturing Marcus walking out of the operating room, perfectly healthy. But my team and I managed to stop the bleeding. He is still very weak, but he has passed the worst part. He is in the recovery room near the surgery area on the 5th floor. Oh, thank God. Thank you, God. I cried, this time faking relief. You can see him now. But there is another matter we must discuss immediately about the next steps. Dr. Cole's tone turned serious. Meet me in recovery room number 3. Yes, doctor. I am coming right now. I hung up and looked at Nurse Sophie with a hard face. It is time, I said. Remember, Sophie said, grabbing my shoulders. They will show you the papers. Do not sign. Make any excuse. Say you are in shock. Say you have to call family. Then get out of there. I will handle the distraction. Go down to the basement using the service elevator at the end of the hall near the emergency stairs. I will wait for you at the basement exit. Bring the proof. He nodded. I quietly opened the changing room door. The hallway was calm. I took a deep breath one more time and stepped out. I no longer walked like the terrified Maya. I walked like a Maya on a mission. But on the outside, a devastated wife. I walked down the hall with shaky steps on purpose. I saw the door marked Recovery Room 3. Pushed it gently. The room was darker, lit only by the glow of machines next to the bed. And there they were. Dr. Cole standing by the bed with a clipboard. The snake Vanessa standing in a corner with fake worry on her face. And in the bed lay Marcus. I almost let out a bitter laugh. His acting was perfect. Marcus's face was made up to look pale and sick. A tube, which I was sure only had water in it, was connected to his hand. A heart monitor beside him beeped a steady beep beep beep. Marcus's eyes were closed. His chest moved up and down slowly to look weak. Marcus. Oh baby. I rushed to the bedside and started sobbing like crazy. I took his hand. It was warm and strong. not the hand of a man who just almost died. I had to use all my strength not to squeeze Marcus's fingers hard. "Doctor, he looks so pale," I said, turning to Dr. Cole with eyes full of fake tears. Dr. Cole patted my shoulder. "He has lost a lot of blood, ma'am. But he will recover. As I told you, he is strong. Thank goodness." "But," said Dr. Cole, the word I was waiting for. I lifted my face with fear. "What problem, doctor?" While we were operating to stop the bleeding, Dr. Cole explained patiently like talking to a child. "We found something unexpected. A quite large blood clot near his liver. It is not related to the accident, but it is extremely dangerous. It could break apart at any moment." I looked at him with shaking lips. "You mean we have to remove it?" "Immediately," Dr. Cole said firmly. "I have already scheduled a second emergency surgery for tomorrow at 9 in the morning. A cleaning procedure." In the corner, Vanessa tried to hide a smile. "Another operation," I whispered. "It is for his safety," Dr. Cole said. He turned a page on his clipboard. "But the procedure is very risky. It is a delicate area. There is a high risk of complications with the anesthesia and bleeding. I need your permission." Dr. Cole held out the clipboard to me. On it was a paper that said consent for high-risk surgery. Below it was a blank line waiting for my signature. The signature of my own death warrant that would later be switched to my name. Or maybe it was consent for Marcus that they would use as an excuse to operate on me. Whatever it was the trap. Suddenly, Marcus's eyes opened a little. "Sign it, honey," he whispered weakly like a bad actor. "I trust Dr. Cole." Vanessa stepped forward. "Mrs. Maya, Marcus needs it. Please do not wait. It is for him." The three of them surrounded me. 3 wolves waiting for a sheep. I looked at the pen Dr. Cole was offering. I looked at Marcus's fake sick face. I looked at Vanessa's mean smile. I started shaking hard, this time half real. "I cannot. Mrs. Maya, it is urgent," Dr. Cole urged. His smile was starting to fade. "I cannot," I screamed, pushing the clipboard away. "I feel dizzy. Feel sick. Another risky operation. I have to call Marcus's mother. I cannot make this decision alone." I pretended to choke on a cry. "I need air. I need to go to the bathroom." Before Dr. Cole or Vanessa could react, I ran out of the room. I heard Dr. Cole shout my name. "Mrs. Maya, wait." But I did not stop. I ran down the hallway, turned a corner, and passed the nurse station. I did not go to the nearest bathroom. I ran toward the end of the hallway, toward where Nurse Sophie told me earlier. Just as I got to the last corner, a loud fire alarm rang throughout the building. The sound came from an upper floor. Nurses started coming out of rooms, looking confused. A security guard ran toward the main elevators, talking into his radio. It was Sophie's distraction. In the middle of the chaos, nobody noticed me. I saw a metal door that said service elevator, workers only. I swiped the card Sophie gave me. The door opened. I stepped into the narrow metal box that smelled like oil. I pressed the B button for basement. The elevator doors closed, blocking out the chaotic sound of the alarm. Alone in the going down elevator, I leaned against the wall. My heart was beating 1,000 times per minute. I had won the first round. But now I was going down into the wolf's den. The service elevator stopped with a soft ding. The doors opened. What I saw was very different from the clean, bright surgery floor. The hospital basement was dark, cold, and smelled wet. Big pipes ran along the low ceiling. Some were dripping water onto the cracked floor. The sound of the fire alarm from above was a distant, muffled echo. I stepped out with Sophie's card held tight in my hand. I was alone in spooky silence. I followed the barely visible signs on the walls. Files maintenance server room. At the end of the hallway, in a slightly better lit area, I saw them. 2 doors side by side. One said Dr. Harrison Cole, Chief of Surgery. The other was a heavy metal door that said server room, restricted access. This was his lair. I decided to go to Dr. Cole's office first for Marcus's medical report. I swiped the card. The heavy wooden door opened without sound. I slipped inside. The office was surprisingly fancy. Thick carpets, a huge wooden desk, and tall bookshelves. It smelled like expensive coffee and leather. Bad Dr. Money must pay well. I ran to the desk. The drawers were locked. Darn it. I did not have time to pick locks. My eyes went to the shelves. Among the thick medical books were rows of folders. I read the labels. Research agenda patients. I pulled out the one for patients. Not there. I pulled out another. Special projects. Inside I found it. A thin folder with no label. Opened it. My heart skipped a beat. There it was. The report of Marcus's medical checkup dated 2 days ago. At the bottom, a large red stamp said optimal physical condition. Next to it was another thicker folder. Opened it. Financial reports. Final warning from a bank. A bankruptcy filing for a huge debt in Marcus's construction company name. Here was the physical proof and the reason why. Pulled out my phone. My hands were shaking so much I could barely open the camera. I took pictures of every page one by one. The checkup page, the optimal stamp, the bank debts. I put the files back in their place. Now the cameras. I left the office, closing the door quietly. I went to the metal door of the server room and swiped the card. The door opened. A blast of cold air and a loud humming sound greeted me. The room was full of computer server racks with green and yellow lights blinking. I found a stack of monitors and video recorders in a corner. I read the labels. Lobby, hallway, 5th floor emergency room. And finally, underground worker parking. Bingo. I took out the memory stick Sophie gave me and put it into a port on the recorder. A progress bar appeared on the small monitor screen. Copying. My heart beat to the rhythm of the slowly rising number. 10%. 20%. I saw the real-time recording of the parking lot. It was empty. 30%. 40%. Suddenly I heard a noise. Not inside the server room but outside in the basement hallway. A step. 2 people walking fast. My heart stopped. The fire alarm must have been turned off. They were looking for me. 70%. 80%. The footsteps got closer and stopped right outside. She could not have gone far, I heard Dr. Cole's clear voice. You check my office. I will check the server room. Panic. I looked at the screen. 95%. 98%. The doorknob of the server room started to turn. 99%. Copy complete. I yanked out the memory stick. Just as the server room door opened, I spun around, my body hitting a server rack behind me. In the doorway stood Dr. Cole, eyes burning with anger. Behind him, Vanessa smiled like she had won. Looking for something, Maya? Vanessa sneered with a sweet but deadly voice. It was a good game, Mrs. Maya, Dr. Cole said, entering the room. He looked at the video recorder, then at the memory stick in my hand. Hiding in the changing room, faking a panic attack, running to the basement. Did you really think we were that stupid? And Nurse Sophie, I whispered. That little troublemaker. Dr. Cole chuckled. We have already taken care of her. She will not bother anyone else. My stomach twisted with terror. What had they done to Sophie? You thought you were smart, huh? Vanessa said, stepping forward and snatching the phone from my hand. She looked at the photo gallery. Ah, our proof. How sweet. She deleted the photos one by one in front of my eyes. Marcus, the money, all deleted. But I have this, I screamed, holding up the memory stick. The video of Marcus walking in. You cannot delete this. Dr. Cole smiled. It was the coldest smile I ever saw. Really? Look closely at what you copied. I was confused. That recording you worked so hard to copy, Dr. Cole explained like teaching a student, is a loop of last night's video prepared especially for anyone who came snooping. I looked at the memory stick in my hand. Now it felt useless. And the files in my office, Dr. Cole continued. That medical report was a fake copy we planted there on purpose as bait. The originals are already destroyed. It was a trap. My whole escape to the basement had been a trap. They had let me escape from the recovery room on purpose. They had led me down here. "Welcome to the trap, Mrs. Maya," Dr. Cole said. "Now you have two choices. Either you sign the consent the easy way." Vanessa stepped forward, pulling something from behind her back. A large needle filled with clear liquid. "Or we will make you sign it," Vanessa said. "And after that we can do your second procedure right here, right now." The cold server room suddenly felt hot and hard to breathe in. The walls of buzzing computer racks seemed to close in on me, trapping me with my two hunters. Dr. Cole's words hit me like a hammer. The memory stick was fake. The photos on my phone were deleted. Nurse Sophie had been caught. I was alone. Every step I thought was smart was actually a path they laid out for me. I had danced to their music. And now I reached the end of the song, right in the jaws of the wolf. Vanessa smiled. It was a smile of pure happiness. She spun the large needle in her hand. The clear liquid inside shimmered under the lights. "Come on, Maya," Vanessa hissed. "Choose. Sign the easy way or take a little nap first." Dr. Cole showed the clipboard again. The signature line seemed to mock me. "Playtime is over, Mrs. Maya. We have a schedule to keep." My mind raced. The fear was there, cold and freezing. But beneath it, the anger I felt earlier in the changing room began to burn again. It was no longer a small fire but a huge flame eating the fear. They thought they won. They thought I was the weak, stupid wife. They were dead wrong. If the new proof is fake, I will have to use the old proof. I raised my hands, pretending to shake. I looked at Dr. Cole with begging eyes. "Okay, babe. I lost. You won." Dr. Cole smiled a little. "A wise choice." "I will sign," I said roughly. "But please let me make a quick call to Marcus's mother. I just want to hear her voice one more time." Vanessa laughed meanly. "Oh, how dramatic." Dr. Cole seemed to think about it for a moment. "No calls. Now. I am getting impatient." "At least give me back my phone then," I said, pointing to my phone in Vanessa's hand. "My family phone numbers are in there. I just want to see a picture of my mama." Vanessa rolled her eyes but looked at Dr. Cole, who nodded slightly. "Give it to her. She cannot call anyone from this basement anyway. We blocked all signals." Course they had. They planned everything. Vanessa threw the phone at my feet. "Here." Bent down slowly. Every movement was planned to look defeated and broken. Picked up the phone. My hands shook, but this time I controlled them. My heart pounded, not from fear but energy. I held the phone, looking at the dark screen. "Thank you," I whispered. I stood up straight. In an instant my whole attitude changed. My back, bent before, was now straight. My begging eyes were now hard and cold. My face, pale before, was now tense. Dr. Cole and Vanessa felt the change. Their smiles faded a little. "You are right," I said with a flat, cold voice. "It was a good game. Good bait. But you got one thing wrong." "And what is that?" Vanessa sneered. "You thought I discovered my husband's rot tonight," I said. "But I have been smelling this garbage for months." I unlocked my phone. Vanessa had deleted the photos from the gallery. But Vanessa did not know how to find a hidden voice recording folder. "Before I sign," I said, "I would like you to hear this. Take it as a goodbye song." I pressed the play button. For a second nothing happened. Then a voice filled the server room. Marcus's voice, clear and sharp. "No, I do not care about your thanks. Just make sure the payment is in the secret Swiss account by the end of the month. 3 million. Clean it. I do not want to know how. Just make sure." The recording was from 4 months ago. Call between Marcus and a business partner. Marcus was organizing bribes and illegal money movement for his latest building project. I had recorded it secretly while he argued in his home office, thinking I might use it as a weapon in a future separation. I never imagined I would use it to save my life. Dr. Cole and Vanessa froze. Their faces went pale. "That," Dr. Cole stuttered. "That has nothing to do with this." "Oh, sure it does, doctor," I said, stepping forward. This proves my husband's character. Proves he is a criminal. And this recording, combined with my testimony, will have the police looking into all his business, including his insurance business with you. You will not leave this room alive, Vanessa hissed, raising the needle. Probably not, I said with a defiant look. But this phone, I held the phone high, is recording our entire conversation in this room from the moment you walked in. It was a bluff. The signal was really cut. Could not be sending anything. But they did not know that. And this recording, I continued, raising my voice, is connected to the cloud. If my heart stops, or if I do not enter a password in the next 5 minutes, this recording, the recording of your confession, your threats, along with the recording of Marcus's illegal money, will be sent automatically to my lawyer, the editor-in-chief of the City Times newspaper, and Marcus's mother. Dr. Cole's eyes went wide with terror. The bluff worked. He believed it. Stop her! Dr. Cole shouted, seized by panic. Vanessa, inject her now. Vanessa snapped out of her shock, screamed, and rushed at me with a needle pointed like a knife. I backed up, crashing into the cold server racks. There was nowhere to run. I raised my hands to protect my face, ready for the prick of the needle. Stop! A new voice echoed in the underground space. A voice full of fury and power. The server room door that Dr. Cole had closed burst open. In the doorway stood Marcus. He was still wearing his fake surgery clothes. His face was red with anger. His eyes burned. He did not look like a weak patient. He looked like a king who just discovered his helpers had betrayed him. What the heck are you doing here? Marcus roared. His voice echoed. The plan was the recovery room, not the basement. He stopped, taking in the scene before him. A panicked Dr. Cole, a frozen Vanessa with a needle in hand, and me standing tall in front of a server holding my phone like a weapon. Marcus looked at me. The fury on his face slowly changed to surprise, and then a cold mask of hate. He finally understood. His wife knew everything. A standoff. For people in the humming server room. The three hunters now looked at each other with doubt. Their prey was in the center holding the most important card. Marcus walked in. His eyes never left me. So, he said in a dangerously low voice. You knew. I knew everything, Marcus, I replied. My voice was equally cold. The fake surgery, the insurance, your plan to kill me tomorrow on the operating table. Marcus turned sharply to Dr. Cole. You said she would not know. You said you took care of Nurse Sophie. She set us up, Dr. Cole stuttered, pointing at me. She faked the panic attack. She has a recording. An old recording of yours about your business. Marcus's face hardened. What recording? Play it again, Maya. She ordered herself mentally. She had to turn them against each other. I pressed the play button again. Marcus's voice ordering the cleaning of $3 million filled the room again. Marcus closed his eyes. He knew that recording. He knew exactly when it happened, but he had no idea I recorded it. You, Marcus hissed, looking at me. So this was your plan. Trap me with that. That is just the beginning, I said. I had to keep pushing. That only proves your character. But this, I held up the phone again, is proof of your crimes tonight. What do you mean? Marcus asked. This phone, I repeated my bluff, has recorded every word in this room. Dr. Cole's confession about taking care of Sophie. Vanessa's threats to inject me. And now you are here confirming the plan. Vanessa and Dr. Cole took a step back. But Marcus laughed. A dry, terrible laugh. Do you take me for an idiot, Maya? This is a basement. No signal. No cloud. No lawyers. Nothing has been sent. Marcus moved closer. Whatever is on that phone will be destroyed right here with you. My heart sank. I knew my bluff failed. Marcus knew me too well. Give me that phone, Marcus ordered, reaching out. No, I whispered. Give it to me. Marcus lunged. He was faster than I expected. His hand closed over my wrist, twisting it hard. I screamed in pain. The phone slipped from my hand, sliding across the floor. The screen cracked. Marcus grinned, raising his foot to crush it. "Game over, honey." Too late. A new voice, loud and confident, came from the door. Everyone turned. In the doorway stood Nurse Sophie. She was unharmed. She had not been caught. She stood tall, face full of righteous anger. And she was not alone. Behind her were two big hospital security guards with stern faces. Marcus's eyes went wide. Dr. Cole stumbled back. "No. Impossible. Did you really think I was that stupid, doctor?" Sophie said, walking into the room. "You thought I would send Mrs. Maya alone into your lair? What are you talking about?" Dr. Cole stuttered. "The fire alarm earlier," Sophie explained, "was not a distraction for the guards. It was a distraction for you. While you were busy chasing Maya, these gentlemen and I," she pointed to the guards, "went to the main control room. We disabled the fake loop on this server. We took control." Sophie pointed to a security camera in the corner of the server room ceiling. Its little red light was blinking. "It has been recording every word you said in this room," Sophie said. "Every threat, every confession has been recorded in real time by the head of hospital security. Tarek, Dr. Cole, and Vanessa looked at that camera in horror. They were trapped. Completely trapped. And that memory stick," I added, pointing to the stick still on the recorder table. "That was the real bait. Bait to keep you busy." I looked at Marcus. "While you were chasing me, Sophie copied the real video of your arrival. You walking calmly through the worker lobby, laughing with Vanessa. We have it all secured." Silence. The hum of the computers was the only sound. Marcus's face was pale. His perfect plan had fallen apart. Dr. Cole was the first to crack. He knew his career, his life was over. His eyes darted frantically around. He saw the needle Vanessa had dropped when Marcus entered. With a desperate roar, Dr. Cole rushed for it. "You will not catch me." He did not attack me. He attacked the only person with the technical proof. Nurse Sophie. "Sophie, look out!" I screamed. But Sophie did not move. She had expected it. As Dr. Cole rushed at her, Sophie did not back down. She stepped forward, pulling her own needle from her uniform pocket. Much smaller but just as strong. "Take this," Sophie said calmly. Just as Dr. Cole entered her range, she stuck the needle directly into the doctor's thick thigh. "It is a powerful sleeping medicine, max dose. You know the effects, right, doctor?" Dr. Cole stopped dead. His eyes went wide with surprise. He looked at the needle sticking out of his thigh. He tried to pull it out, but his hands started to shake. His legs gave way. He fell to the floor like a sack of potatoes. His eyes rolled back. Unconscious. Vanessa screamed like crazy, seeing her partner fall. She lost her calm completely. She did not attack. She turned around and tried to push through the security guards to run away. But the second guard grabbed her easily by the arm and put handcuffs on her. Only Marcus remained. He stood there staring stunned at the fallen Dr. Cole, the sobbing Vanessa, and me, who looked at him with fearless eyes. A blind fury took over him. If he was going down, he was taking me with him. "This is all your fault," he roared. He forgot about the guards. He forgot about the camera. His eyes only saw me. Marcus threw himself forward, hands ready to grab my neck. The room exploded into chaos. Marcus's furious scream, "This is all your fault," echoed among the hum of the computers. His eyes were bloodshot, big with energy and pure hate. He no longer saw the security guards, nor cared about the recording camera. His only target was me. He rushed forward. The first security guard, who was not holding Vanessa, reacted quickly. "Sir, do not move," he shouted, stepping in to block Marcus. But Marcus, driven by the desperation of a man who lost everything, had unexpected strength. He rammed his shoulder into the guard's chest, making the man stumble. The second guard could not let go of the struggling Vanessa. In a split second, Marcus had gotten past the defense. He reached me, extending his hands. He did not grab my neck. He roughly grabbed the collar of my coat, pulling hard. My head jerked forward and I let out a moan of pain. Marcus's other hand clawed at my shoulder. His nails tore the fabric of my pajamas. "I am going to kill you," he growled, face inches from mine. But I was no longer the same woman from 3 hours ago. The freezing fear was gone, replaced by a basic instinct to survive. When Marcus pulled me, I did not let myself be dragged passively. I brought my knee up with all my strength, hitting Marcus in the groin. He grunted in pain but did not let go. Instead, he became even angrier. He started shaking me hard. "Let her go," Sophie shouted, running to help. That was when the first security guard recovered. He saw Marcus attacking me. He gave no more warnings. He rushed from behind, wrapping his big arms around Marcus's chest in a powerful bear hug. "You are under arrest. You are under arrest." Marcus's body was lifted off the floor, but his grip on my clothes did not give. I was dragged with him, almost choking. "Let go! Let go!" I screamed, tearing at my own clothes to try to free myself from Marcus's grip. Marcus now directed his fury at the guard holding him. He struggled, kicked, and elbowed backward. "Get off me! She is mine! Calm down! Do not resist," the guard ordered, trying to bring Marcus down to the floor. But Marcus was too wild. He twisted with all his strength, trying to break free from the hug. It was a desperate, violent, and reckless move. The hard twist managed to break the guard's grip, but it also threw Marcus himself off balance. He stumbled backward. His left foot caught on the leg of the unconscious Dr. Cole lying on the floor. Me, Sophie, and the 2 security guards watched it all in horrible slow motion. Marcus fell backward. He did not fall onto the smooth floor. He fell directly toward the main server rack, a solid black metal frame full of heavy computer parts. His back hit the rack first, but the force of his fall was too strong. His head snapped back. The back of his neck and the bottom of his skull hit against the sharp steel edge of the server frame. The sound was not loud. It was not so much a bang as a dry crunch. A horrible crack like a dry branch snapping. Silence. All sound in the room stopped. Vanessa stopped screaming. The guards froze. The steady hum of the computers suddenly sounded super loud. Marcus did not slide to the floor. He stayed suspended in a strange sitting position with his back against the rack and his head hanging to one side at an unnatural angle. His eyes were open, staring straight ahead, looking at me. But the look was different. The burning fury had gone out. What remained was pure shock and confusion. "Marcus," I whispered, taking a step forward. The guard who had held him now approached carefully. "Mr. Marcus. Ambulance. Ambulance to the basement," he shouted to his partner. Marcus opened his mouth. No sound came out, just a shallow breath. He tried to lift a hand. Did not move. He tried to move his legs. They stayed still. Pure and absolute terror, a different kind of terror than rage, now filled his eyes. He looked at me and tried to speak again. "I." His voice was a scratchy whisper. "Cannot move. My legs," he whispered again. "My hands. Well, I do not feel anything." I looked at my husband, the man who tried to kill me seconds before. The man who planned my death on an operating table. The man who pretended to be paralyzed. Now he was truly paralyzed. "Lord have mercy," Sophie whispered, covering her mouth. Felt nothing. No compassion, no satisfaction. Just a cold emptiness. I looked into that man's eyes, now full of tears of real terror. The irony was too cruel, too fast, too perfect. Karma had arrived. Not in a courtroom. Not in a cell. But right here in the cold server room. In the middle of his own evil plan. Marcus was trapped. Truly trapped. Not behind prison bars, but in the prison of his own body. "Do not touch him," the security guard shouted, seeing me approach. "Do not touch his neck. Let the medical team handle it." "Stop." I stood there looking at my now helpless husband. The healthy man had become a real patient, much more serious than he ever pretended to be. The server room doors opened again. This time it was the real head of security, followed by 2 uniformed city police officers he called as soon as he saw the live video. They stopped in the doorway looking at the scene. Vanessa handcuffed and crying. Dr. Cole unconscious on the floor. Marcus paralyzed against a server rack. And me standing in the middle of the ruins of my life with torn clothes but standing tall. The game was over. Morning came slowly. The first rays of sun came through the high windows of the hospital lobby, but the light seemed strange and far away to me. I was sitting in a quiet worker break room wrapped in a thick hospital blanket. Nurse Sophie was sitting next to me holding a cup of hot tea another nurse brought us. Neither of us spoke. We had told everything over and over again to the head of security, to the police detectives. The server room became a crime scene. Dr. Cole, as soon as he woke up, was handcuffed to a bed. Vanessa was taken away in a police car before morning, her crazy screams echoing in the empty parking lot. And Marcus. The medical team arrived with extreme care. They put a neck brace on him, moved him to a spine board, and took him to the emergency room, then to MRI, and finally to the trauma intensive care unit. The diagnosis came as the sun rose. Burst fracture of the C4 bone in the neck. The spinal cord was cut. He was quadriplegic, completely paralyzed from the neck down. He could breathe on his own, but with difficulty. He could move his eyes and some face muscles. But that was all. Forever. The following days were a blur for me. I stayed at my parents' house, refusing to talk to anyone except my lawyer. The news exploded. The Red operating room scandal at Central City Hospital. Photos of Dr. Cole, Vanessa, and Marcus were on every news website. Justice was swift and firm. The video and audio recording from the server room was proof they could not deny. Dr. Cole faced the most charges. Conspiracy to commit murder, gross medical negligence, insurance fraud, and assault. Sophie's testimony opened a box on years of other suspicious cases of surgical complications. He was sentenced to life in prison, stripped of his medical license, and destined to die in shame. Vanessa, as a helper, was also found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder. Her beautiful crying face in court did not move the judge. She received a sentence of 20 years in prison. Sophie was called a hero. After the hospital completely changed its board of directors, they offered her a new position, Chief Supervisor of Ethics and Patient Safety. She accepted, determined to make sure that no one like Dr. Cole could ever operate again. And I filed for divorce the same day Marcus was moved from intensive care. I attached the proof of the attempted murder and the old voice recording about illegal money. The court granted me the divorce immediately since the defendant could not attend. All assets were frozen. The life insurance policy was declared void. The huge debt Marcus created remained his responsibility, or rather the responsibility of the state-appointed manager to handle his seized assets. I was free, financially, legally, and emotionally. 1 month later, I decided I needed to close this chapter forever. Paid a visit to Marcus. And it would be the last. He was no longer in a fancy hospital. He was in a long-term care facility managed by the state for prisoners with special medical needs. His room was small and smelled of cleaning products and despair. He lay in a special bed with his head held still by supports. Only his eyes moved, staring at the ceiling. A nurse was changing his catheter bag when I walked in. Marcus's eyes darted sharply toward the door. He saw me. I wore a simple light purple dress. I looked calm and healthy. Marcus's eyes narrowed. Pure and powerless hate burned in them. He tried to speak. A gurgling sound came out of his throat. He hated me. He blamed me for everything. I walked slowly to his bedside. I stood in silence for a moment, looking at the man I once loved. The man who betrayed me in the worst way. I felt no compassion or anger. Just the end. I came to tell you one thing, I said softly. My voice was calm and clear in the silent room. Marcus stared at me with bloodshot eyes. You wanted to put me on an operating table, right? Continued. You wanted me to be helpless, depending on machines, so you could start a new life. Marcus wheezed again, louder. Now, I said, leaning in a little closer, you are the one trapped in a bed. You are the one who depends on others for everything. Forever. Is that not ironic? I stood up straight. Enjoy the rest of your life, Marcus. I walked down the hall past the guards and walked out the main door of the center. Outside, the sun was shining brightly. The morning air was fresh. I took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the sun on my face. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. I walked down the steps and toward my car, toward the rest of my new life. Did you like the story? And which city are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. If you like the story, you can support me by sending a super thanks so I can keep bringing more stories like this. Thank you so much for your sweet support. I am looking forward to your comments on the story. On the screen, you can see 2 new life stories from Auntie's Stories that I highly recommend. There is so much more on my channel. Do not forget to subscribe. See you in the next life story with love and respect.